It is Friday, May 22nd, 2026. It is Memorial Day weekend. In America, that means two things. One, everyone's going to the beach. And two, everyone's going to the beach by car, so traffic sucks. This is Atlanta. Traffic sucks anyway, so traffic on Memorial Day weekend is particularly bad. When I was a kid in Scotland, going to the beach meant walking to our local train station and taking a 40-minute train ride to Carnoustie or Arbroath. Arbroath was more fun because there was a paddling pool and go-karts and a tiny little train that you could ride. Carnoustie was my favourite beach because there was a stream that you could build dams in. That was a lot of fun. Last time I was in Scotland for Paul's wedding, I took a train from Aberdeen to Glasgow. I live in America now, and I don't want to sit in traffic, but I do want to go to the beach. And I want to do it like I was a kid. So today, I'm going to take a train to the beach. Unfortunately, it's going to take a little bit longer than 40 minutes. Well, 45 minutes of sitting in Atlanta traffic later, we are almost home. So it's time to get out of these stuffy work clothes, put on something a little bit more comfortable, and head towards our train. The good news is that train is not for quite a bit of time, so we're going to make our leisurely way downtown to the train station. Listen, I acknowledge that it is a little odd to be starting my video that is about taking a train to the beach by coming to a park local to where I live. This is Big Trees Forest Preserve, and there's a good reason that I'm here. This path that I'm standing on is the only remains of a branch line from the Roswell Railroad that went to Morgan Falls Dam. Morgan Falls Dam was built on the Chattahoochee River to provide electrical power to the streetcars in downtown Atlanta. That's really cool. This whole area developed because we needed power for streetcars. I think that's awesome. Now, like I say, this is a branch line off of the main Roswell Railroad. I don't know if passenger trains ever ran along this line or if it was just freight to build the dam. So I don't know if 100 years ago I could have taken a train from here to downtown. Now, the main Roswell Railroad ran from the Chattahoochee River a little bit north up Roswell Road here to Chambly. And it ran twice a day. Once in the morning it went southbound, and then once in the evening it went northbound. At Chambly, it would meet with the Southern Railroad to where you could take trains to downtown Atlanta. Now, thankfully, public transport from this area has gotten better since then than a once-a-day train. Not much better. There's a bus every 30 minutes that will take 20 minutes to take me to a train station to where I can get a train downtown. So that's what I'm doing as the first step of this journey. But before I do that, I'm going to find a quiet place in the park and I'm going to eat my sandwich from Publix.
Bustle. Diner.
Bus ride is over. A lot of people say MARTA is not very good, and to be fair, it's not, but it's not that bad. That was 15 minutes, $2.50, and I get a free transfer onto the train. So next we're gonna get onto MARTA, head downtown. Made it on the train. Next stop, Art Center. MARTA was fine. People are scared to use MARTA, which is weird. Like, there were some weird people on that train, but that's just because MomoCon is going on downtown. Those were the only truly weird people. A couple of homeless guys, but they just want to sleep. The real problem with Atlanta public transit infrastructure is the lack of interconnectivity. The Amtrak lines run right alongside the MARTA lines, but nobody built a station near it to connect. I could take a bus from here. It would take about 20 minutes to get me over to the thing. The other problem, of course, is that there's so few trains that my train is not for another 3 hours. So I'm going to walk over there. We'll see how long that takes. I've been watching the train tracker all day because the train was supposed to leave New Orleans for Atlanta at 9 a.m. this morning, and it's not been tracking. And then, of course, I walk up to the station and there's a train on the platform already. So that's a good sign. I guess I might be going today. In Atlanta, when we say we're going to the beach, we mean we're going to the panhandle of Florida. Unfortunately, no trains run to the panhandle of Florida. So if I want to go to the beach and take the train, I'm going to have to go somewhere else. Where I've been able to find a train that gets you relatively close to the beach is Jacksonville, Florida. Back in the 1950s, there were 3 trains a day, at least, that left from downtown Atlanta and went direct to Jacksonville via South Georgia. It was about an 8-hour journey. Unfortunately, those trains are long gone. The only train that calls in Atlanta these days is the Crescent. It runs from New York City all the way down to New Orleans. At 7 in the morning, it hits Atlanta heading south, and at 11:30 at night, it hits Atlanta headed north. I'm going south to Jacksonville, but strangely, the quickest way for me to get there is to get on the train tonight at 11:30 p.m. and spend 8 hours and get off in Greensboro, North Carolina. So we're going to do that. It's 9 o'clock right now. I got here really early. This isn't like an airport where I need to be here this early. We're going to sit around for a couple hours. Hopefully there's some air conditioning inside this tiny little station, and we're going to get on a train. I like trains. So I checked with the lady at the counter, and she said the train is starting from here tonight. No idea why, but that bodes well that I might get a window seat. Of course, it's going to be dark, so I don't think I'll see anything. Okay, listen, this is an overnight train, so I'm not going to talk or really film much. I'm going to go to sleep, and maybe in the morning we'll talk some more. Greensboro, North Carolina. So how was riding Amtrak overnight? It was interesting. The seats, very comfortable, actually more comfortable than flying transatlantic, and it was about the same amount of time, 8.5 hours. I probably got about 3 or 4 hours of kind of restless sleep, but it's enough to keep me going for today. Wish I'd had a window seat. I got a window for the last like 20 minutes of the ride. Not that I could have filmed much because it was dark the whole way. Boarding was chaos. So from what I understand, there was a derailment which caused the train to New Orleans a couple of days ago to get canceled from Atlanta. So they started it from Atlanta last night, which meant all the passengers from the stations between Atlanta and New Orleans were bused to Atlanta, and so they had to board the entire train. We started 15 minutes early, and the train still ended up 15 minutes late. It took an hour to board a train. That's nuts. Don't get it. All right, so I'm in Greensboro. This is obviously not a beach, so I still need to get to the beach. In about 8 hours, I'm going to take another train from here to Cary, North Carolina. Still not a beach. I think there's a diner around the corner. Diner! So I'm gonna go get some breakfast. Diner. Oh dear, it's Pepsi okay kind of joint. But they got Mountain Dew. The perfect breakfast drink. Well, that breakfast was not very good. Staff were very friendly, and it was nice to sit somewhere warm, but I'd have been better at Waffle House. Disappointing biscuits. Well, look, Ma, I'm famous. I like downtown Greensboro. A lot of old historic buildings that are pretty, a lot of public art all over the place. It's pretty cool. Glad I'm here. But also glad I only have 8 hours here because I'm rapidly running out of things to do, and I've already been here for 2.5 hours. Miss, I need to go to the toilet, miss. I suggest that if you're trying to eliminate a polio epidemic, don't lick it. There's a whole separate museum here in Greensboro in the old Woolworths building about sitting in at the lunch counters. But unfortunately not allowed to film in that one, so I'm not going to go there. But this museum here is really, really good. It's much bigger than I expected, and it was completely free. If you ever find yourself in Greensboro with a few hours to kill, come to the Greensboro History Center. Hot. Delicious. Hot. Greensboro's been fun, but I'm tired. I've done like 12,000 steps. There's still a couple hours till my train, but I think I'm just going to hang out here where there's air conditioning and no rain. Maybe take a nap. Piedmont service, and we're heading to Cary, North Carolina. Still not a beach, but we're moving again. Trains. Choo-choo. Thank you. felt more like how a train ride would be in Scotland. It's about an hour and 20 minutes. It was a good functional service. That train runs like 4 or 5 times a day, so you can actually use it to do day trips. That's how trains should be. They shouldn't just be these long distance ones. Anyway, I'm now here in Kerry, which again is not a beach, but we are closer. I've got one more train that will pick me up tonight from here. It's supposed to be at about 8:30, but it's running late, so I've definitely got time to get some dinner. So let's go find somewhere to eat.
Where'd my mommy go?
Pulled pork with the OG vinegar sauce. That was some good barbecue. Bear in mind, I traveled 24 hours before getting to eat it. I don't think it's worth traveling 24 hours to get to. But pretty good. Only 3 hours till my train. I don't know what else to do here.
Who microwaves a bagel?
Oh, we made it to Jacksonville. Still not the beach, got a couple of buses to do to get there, but we're done with the trains for now. So it was fun. We'll talk more about how I feel about trains later. Theoretically, there's a bus stop inside the parking lot of the Amtrak station, but I saw a notice on their website that they're not currently servicing it. That train horn is loud. So I'm going to walk up to the main road and catch the bus to downtown. I already downloaded the app and bought an all-day ticket. $2.50 for unlimited bus rides today. That's a pretty good deal. Kind of a shitty bus stop, but it's a bus stop. Let's wait. So this bus stop gets one bus an hour, and it doesn't even sync up with the Amtrak. Like, points for trying, I guess. It's cheap, but I mean, come on, guys, what are we doing? Plotting my routing in to get to the beach, I actually have to take 3 buses. Maybe because my train was late, I don't know, but the next bus from here doesn't go downtown, it goes to an outer hub, and then it's faster to change there onto another bus to downtown than it is to just wait here for the next bus to downtown. Awesome. So Google Maps told me to come to this transit hub and switch to the number 3, but it turns out that this bus just turns around and goes straight back downtown. So rather than wait out there in the heat, I'm just going to sit on this one.
Next stop,
So I'm at the Jacksonville Regional Transit Center where I can catch my next bus that will take me to the beach. This should be my last bus to get to the beach. What's frustrating though is this is right next door to the convention center, which I believe used to be the Amtrak station. Instead of getting dropped off right here and being able to get on a bus to the beach, I took an hour and 45 minutes to get downtown. What are we doing? The bus that I want to catch is the First Coast Flyer, which is Jacksonville's bus rapid transit. Anyway, I just missed it by 4 minutes, so I've got a 26-minute wait till the next one. So let's just go explore the station over here for a little bit. That's an absolutely gorgeous building. And like, I understand that a city probably does need a convention center, but what a shame. What a shame the poor groom's wife is a whore, but also that this is no longer a train station. An hour and 15 minutes from downtown to the stop at the beach. But now I should only be a few minutes walk from actually being at the beach. Yay! Oh, we made it. It was only 11:30 on Sunday after leaving the house at 5:30 on Friday afternoon. So I guess it turns out it is possible, using public transport only, to go to the beach. Would I recommend doing it? No. The thing about coming to the beach, I can't even swim. I don't really want to get my feet wet. We've got a castle. I don't think this sand is wet enough. Give it a shot. Well, maybe. That's not bad. I kind of make a turret. No. I'm going home. I forgot. It's too hot and there's too many people. I don't even like the beach. I'm gonna go find somewhere for some lunch. Unfortunately, Amtrak has a reputation of not being particularly on time, so I couldn't be sure that I would be able to get home if I booked a trip leaving today. So I booked a hotel for this evening. Luckily, since I work for Hilton, that basically doesn't cost me anything. And I will resume the journey back home tomorrow. Couldn't be bothered with any of those fancy restaurants down by the beach. Luckily, there's a Publix up here. Since it's so hot, just some fresh fruit, and to offset how healthy that is, a Red Bull. So I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna eat some lunch. I saw a train across the street, so after lunch I'm gonna go take a look at whatever that is. The museum itself isn't really worth much. One room, which incidentally is being torn out tomorrow, so the museum will be closed for 3 months while they remodel. But this little garden with the extra little buildings and the train, that's worth the price of admission. Incidentally, admission is free. That was kind of interesting. About 4 stops into the ride, the bus just kind of pulls over. She takes a phone call and then she tells us, hey, we're not stopping anywhere until we get downtown. And that saved us about 30 minutes. pretty friendly, but kind of confusing, not very well organized, and I kind of feel like that's how all of my bus rides on the Jacksonville Regional Transit Authority have been. Friendly, well-meaning, but kind of chaotic. Anyway, I'm back downtown. I could change to another bus to take me to my hotel, but I'm gonna walk because Jacksonville's kind of pretty. That track up there is for a stupid automated people rider. Unfortunately, it doesn't operate at weekends. And even though tomorrow is a Monday, it's being treated as a weekend because it's a holiday Monday. So I'm not gonna be able to ride it this time. It's free, it goes nowhere anybody wants to go, and it's mostly used by homeless people to be somewhere that's slightly out of the weather. It's a pity because it's a cool idea, just gadget ban. So I guess my main takeaways from having done this. Would I recommend this specific trip? Well, no. I mean, if your goal is to get to the beach, this is not the way to do it. Drive your car. If you don't have a car, well then take the train to a beach that makes more sense. But if you just want to ride a train, this was really fun. It worked out pretty well. I didn't have to pay for hotels for Friday night or Saturday night. I just slept on the train. I didn't have to get a hotel tonight. I come from a place of privilege. I work in hotels. Hotels for me are really cheap. I'm staying downtown with that view, and I'm spending way less on this than I did on transportation. I enjoyed this journey, and if you just want to ride some trains, this was actually a really good way of doing it. I like trains and I wanted to ride trains, and I got out of this trip what I wanted from that. I got to ride trains. I got to experience what Amtrak is like. The staff were all really friendly, very chaotic. Ultimately, I think that's my biggest takeaway from having done this trip, is that every staff member I interacted with in any of these transportation systems were very friendly and cared, but they're just trying to make a bad system as good as they can be. The bus driver today, coming back from the beach, just stopped by the side of the road, took a phone call, and then announced to the passenger at the front of the bus, who then made the announcements to the rest of us, that if you wanted to stop anywhere else but before she got downtown, get off and transfer, because otherwise we're just going straight downtown. And which most, like that was fine. I wanted to go downtown. It saved me probably about 30 minutes of all these little detours off of the route. That's no way to run a bus system. It should be reliable. Atlanta, when we were boarding the train, there were only 2 people working in the station, and they had to board an entire train. So all these people had been bussed in. It took an hour and 15 minutes to get everybody loaded onto this train. And again, they were so nice. But that kind of chaos, like they just don't have a good system. I don't want it to sound like I didn't enjoy this. I did. I would maybe not do this particular trip again, but I would definitely want to do more train riding again. But you have to come in with some very, very rose-tinted spectacles to enjoy this. I don't know, man. I don't want to be that guy who says everything was better in the old country or the old days. But I think in terms of train travel, we're kicking your ass. Happy Memorial Day, everyone.